So here we go, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Boot Room, the series where we look ahead to Town's next game. And today, I'm joined by good old Stuart Watson as we look ahead to, of course, the Blues clash with Cheltenham Town back in League One action at Portman Road. It feels like an age last time we were at Portman Road, Stu. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Ross. Yeah, looking forward to a string of games at Portman Road. We've had 3 away on the spin. I think 5 of the next 6 are at Portman Road, so looking forward to it.
Indeed, my friend. Cheltenham Town didn't do what Town did. Of course, Town beating Bracknell Town, a non-league team. Cheltenham on Saturday, of course, got beaten by Church in the same, level. They play in the central Church, of course. Bracknell play in the southern. So Cheltenham Town looking to bounce back from that. They're currently 19th in League One, Stu. What's your thoughts on them? And they've got a lot of players out.
Yeah, Ipswich obviously didn't beat Cheltenham last season. Newly promoted side. Ipswich didn't beat any of the newly promoted sides, home or away. First game was away from home, wasn't it? Early in the season, early stages of the long throw, early stages of the Paul Cook rebuild. The word gelling was being used every 3 seconds, and Ipswich led through Matt Penny. Then came the Macaulay Bonne horror miss, and then, as you say, the long throw was deployed from Ben Tozer, and Ipswich cracked late on, lost 2-1. Fast forward to February, Kieran McKenna is fairly new in the job. Still some outside hopes of sneaking into the playoffs, and that was a really frustrating 0-0 draw. Ipswich pummeled them in the first half, but didn't really have that sort of clinical cutting edge. And in the end, Cheltenham were able to run down the clock with a bit of time wasting, see out a 0-0 draw. So it'll be interesting to see how far Ipswich have come since then. And I think it's fair to say Cheltenham have probably regressed since then as well. Ipswich have become a lot more settled, a lot more stable. We know they've improved in so many areas. Cheltenham, it's been all change for them. They lost their manager, Michael Duff, to Barnsley in the summer. Wade Elliott's been promoted from first team coach, and it sounds like he's under a bit of pressure coming into this one. You mentioned the Alvechurch game at the weekend. That was at home that they lost to Alvechurch as well. And as you say, loads of injuries going into this one. Most notably Alfie May, their talismanic striker who scored 26 goals in all competitions last season. He's out with an ankle injury, but loads more as well. Taylor Perry, who plays in central midfield. Ryan Jackson, their right wing back. Caleb Taylor at the heart of their back three. All of them have been ruled out this weekend. So this is probably the worst possible game for them to come to Portman Road off the back of that Alvechurch game last weekend. So a game Ipswich really should be looking to win if they've got genuine ambitions of finishing in the top two, which they have.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, the boring Cheltenham chance was echoing around Portman Road when that 0-0 draw. Hopefully, it'll be very much different this weekend, Stu. Let's talk about the team then. There was a lot of changes on Monday, but still a strong team against Bracknell. Danashian, Morsey playing ball, and then a few other players, of course, who can be starters as well. But talk about your team, the full 11, and then we'll talk about the key players coming in.
Yeah, okay, I'll run you out an 11. I've got Walton in goal. I'm calling it a back four. I'm going with that. I think it's looking more and more like a back four every week. Danasian, Wolfenden, Edmondson, Davis, Ball, Morsey, Burns, Chaplin, Edwards, Ladapo. That's my 11.
I think it's now getting to a point where who's starting up top instead of on the position. Of course, Ball coming in for Evans with a long-term injury. A lot of people will be calling maybe Humphreys maybe should start because he's been playing really well recently. What's your thinking behind the forwards playing and also maybe Humphreys missing out?
Well, I think that it will revert largely to the team that started against Charlton in the last league game. We know that Walton, Leif Davis, Wes Burns, Connor Chaplin to a lesser degree are all almost certain to come back into the team, having been sort of rested against Bracknell. There's some question marks for me, probably in 3 different positions. One is at centre half, because Cameron Burgess was in top form before he got that horrible facial injury against Bristol Rovers, and I thought he picked up where he left off against Bracknell on Monday night, was bringing the ball out from the back, winning things in the air. He's obviously playing with that mask on at the moment, so he could start putting a bit of pressure on the centre-half positions. Maybe a little bit too soon. One thing playing against Bracknell and another coming into a League One game. Luke Wolfenden's obviously just become a new dad recently, so that may come into the mix as well. But I've gone with Edmondson and Wolfenden for this game, but with Burgess very much breathing down their necks. The left wing role intrigues me. Kyle Edwards, I thought again was really lively on Monday. Took people on, made things happen. Looks like he's got his mojo back again recently. But there's other options, isn't there? We've seen Caden Jackson play wide left. Kane Vincent-Young had a really good dynamic game at left back on Monday night and has played further forward as well. Marcus Harness is a little bit more sort of tucked in on that left side. I think he missed out on Monday through a touch of illness. We'll find out sort of how he is when we speak to McKenna later on. So a raft of options for that left side. And then up front is the final question mark for me, as it always is. We know McKenna kind of rotates his number 9 week in, week out. And I just wonder whether this is Freddie Ladapo's turn, because he has got 4 goals in his last 3 games. I think he's playing the position better and better as the games go on. Tyrese John-Jules had a minor hamstring issue, which kept him out of the squad on Monday. So that comes into the mix as well. But as always, it's impossible really to predict what McKenna does with that top end of the pitch. I'm sure he'll have analysed Cheltenham's strengths and weaknesses and worked out what type of game he thinks this is going to be, and will pick his kind of attributes accordingly.
Indeed. And of course, we are recording this before the press conference with McKenna, so we don't know just yet on different players. So, yeah, wait and see what he'll have to say. And of course, unfortunately, Stu, McKenna's missed out on the Manager of the Month once again. Although some people go with the curse and everything, do you think about that at all?
Not really. No, it's I'm not sure he'd be too worried about that. It's just they'll just quietly keep going about their business in some ways. I'm not saying Ipswich are going under the radar by any stretch, but let that attention go elsewhere. That's fine by me.
Yeah, we lost against Lincoln, so we didn't need to, so McKenna didn't need a win Manager of the Month. That's where we're going with it, I think.
Yeah. Well, the Lincoln game's a really interesting one that you bring that up going into
Yeah.
this, because there are lessons to be learnt from that. We talked about a lot of home games coming up, and Ipswich's home record has actually been really good under McKenna. They've only lost 2 home games in the league, which was Cambridge last season and Lincoln more recently. And there are lessons to be learnt from both of those games, most notably Lincoln, in that Ipswich need to set the tone and start fast against this type of opposition. In many ways, I think these sort of games could be the hardest for Ipswich, where teams maybe come with less ambition and to spoil. And as is their right, if you're Cheltenham and you've come off the back of an embarrassing FA Cup defeat, you've got some key players out, it would be football suicide to come here and try to go toe to toe with Ipswich. So I'm sure they will try and be organised and stubborn and hardworking, and it's up to Ipswich to really start fast and lift the crowd and play with intensity. And you would think if they could get an early breakthrough, that's more than half the job done, really. So yeah, let's hope it's not one of those flat starts, and then you can feel a bit of the frustration building on and off the pitch as the 90 minutes wear on.
Yeah, that's to hope that doesn't happen because, yeah, one of those, just when you play these sort of teams, you just never know what's going to happen in terms of the opening game. You want to start quickly. Before we get into your predictions, Stu, let's have a little pause here, my friend, for some key stats. Let's go. Okay, some good key stats there. Stu, Cheltenham Town, Ipswich Town, in League One. Prediction, my friend.
I have to predict an Ipswich win. I know these games are not gimmies for the reasons that we've just discussed, but I think Cheltenham are in a bit of a sticky spot at the moment with the result last weekend, with the players that they've got out. Ipswich are looking like a well-oiled machine at the moment. Good options. 2-0, Ross, I've got.
2-0. We of course we recorded a podcast before doing the boot room, and I went 4-0, and I'll stick with that. Freddie Ladapo hat trick. Let's score some goals. I don't know if that will put Wade Elliott in more pressure, but we should wait and see. Of course, another packed crowd at Portman Road. Of course, that's what I expected now, isn't it? Really, Stu? We can't be surprised now seeing 25,000. 17,000 season ticket holders now, which is fantastic. But yeah, another good occasion, of course, we'll be remembering all the soldiers, of course, who risked their lives in the wars as well, minute silence, everything like that. And I think the club announced Martin Swallow, who, of course, big Town fan who recently passed away. I think they're going to do a minute applause. I think the 53rd minute as well for him, so that'd be good. But yeah, Stu, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for joining me. Any other business?
No other business. No, looking forward to what will be a rare 3 o'clock Saturday kickoff. We're getting games moved about left, right, and centre at the moment because of the World Cup and TV and stuff like that. So yeah, enjoy a traditional Saturday 3 p.m. while they last.
Indeed, my friend. Well, bring it on. If you are going to the game, enjoy it. If you're not, follow the game with us. Of course, follow Stu's Matchday Live on the East Anglia Daily Times website. And yeah, bring it on. Bye-bye for now.